Hey everybody, Agrarian Libertarian here with you again here today, talking about the aftermath of the election here from a couple days ago. Measure 1, which was the constitutional measure which would establish an ethics committee, an unelected board, by the way, to oversee things, and it's kind of disappointed that that passed, because that'll do nothing but expand the growth of government. We'll see how it shakes out, I guess, but sad to see that it did pass. Measure 2, the citizen voting, that one did pass. That was just a necessary clarification of language in the Constitution. It's not prohibiting anyone who are citizens from voting. If you're a non-citizen of the United States, then you have no business voting in our elections. It's just that simple. So yeah, it's just a necessary clarification of language in the Constitution. Measure 3, which was marijuana, legalization of marijuana, did not pass. That was kind of disappointing, but something will be tried again here. I presume anyway. Decriminalization might be on the docket here for the next legislative session. So we'll see how that goes. Measure 4, that one did pass, which was the free red license plates for volunteers. It sounds good, but it had projected shortfalls of to the millions of dollars to not only the Department of Transportation, but also to the state parks. You know, there's not enough money to go around, and now we're projecting even greater shortfalls. You know, so what's going to become of this? Are we going to raise taxes to cover some things? Because we have a hard enough time with taxation in this state. Property taxes are outrageous, and still nothing's been done with them. So, but anyways, it is what it is, and we'll see how it shakes out, I guess. But it's going to be just kind of disappointing when we find out we don't have all the money we want for all these petty projects that we've been voting on. So, if you ever need to check out the election results, check out the North Dakota Secretary of State's website. It's a very good tool there to see who won in your area, see who won in your district and in your county and in your state. So yeah, biggest news, probably the biggest thing that could have come out of this election was that Kevin Cramer beat Heidi Heitkamp. I feel like that election would have been much closer had it not been for these series of crucial mistakes that the Dem-NPL party and the Heidi Heitkamp campaign had made. She made a lot of people mad, and of course, from that, then the people decided not to vote for her. They were voting against her, not necessarily for Kevin Cramer, but they were definitely voting against her. And that's kind of how I feel that my vote was cast, is that I wasn't necessarily voting for Kevin Cramer, I was voting against Heidi. So, that's enough of the election there. Let's move on to something else. I feel like there's a growing divide, and it just keeps on getting worse, between rural states and urban states. We can even break it down to each individual state. The rural regions of a given state versus the urban areas of a given state. I keep on seeing on Facebook that there's maps of where you have 9 counties out of, say, 38 for a state. I think it was Oregon, that 9 counties decided who's going to be the next, out of 38, who's going to be the next senator, who's going to be the next governor, who's going to be the next whatever, and which is kind of disappointing because it makes people feel that their vote doesn't count, that it doesn't matter. If you and I can't say that I disagree with that because if you have the right to vote, then you should also have, I don't want to say the right to feel like your vote should count, but it should follow that your voice should count if you're exercising your right to vote. So it's just that simple. But yeah, it's just kind of, this election was more disappointing than anything. And politics is getting to be such a garbage deal now, where we're pitting people against each other when we normally would have in the past been talking. And what I find disappointing is that, at least in the circle of politics that I run in, that it amazes me that people who call themselves conservative and people that call themselves libertarian don't have more to talk on. Because it seems to me that, hey, we get along great when it comes to gun rights and stuff, but the moment you talk about marijuana legalization, then that's where everything falls apart. And say what, truth be told, I don't care if marijuana gets legalized. I don't use it. But I'd rather vote on the side of freedom than not. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make here is that libertarians and conservatives, true libertarians and true conservatives, should be getting together and form an alliance of sorts to start getting things done, because that's what we need in this state. I feel is there's this underrepresented, malrepresented group of people, if you will. It's those of us. Whether or not it's a silent majority, I don't know, but it's the people that are constitutionalists, whether or not they're conservative or libertarian. All they want is smaller government. They want government reined in back to its constitutional roots. And that's all we want. And I feel I fall under that group. And I feel like we need to get a coalition of like-minded people that we may not agree on everything, but if we can come to agree on the 80% that we do agree on, let's leave it at that. We'll parse out the rest later, but we need to start making some real changes, especially here in the state of North Dakota. I could care less about federal politics. To me, it's a lost cause, but at the state, county, and local level, that's what we need to start having, is real, true conservatives who make really good points on Facebook. Let's get them elected. Let's get them into positions of elected power, of elected office, and start reining in the insane bloat of local, county, and state government. We need to start doing that. We need to start getting along. We need to start uniting on the things that bring us together, instead of griping about the things that drive us apart. I'd rather agree on the I'd rather agree on the 80% that we do agree on than destroy everything we've worked on over the 20% we don't agree on. We can just leave it at that, you know. So I'm just gonna kind of start closing this up a bit. So yeah, just kind of just disappointed in the outcome of the election, especially here in the state. Like I said, federal, I couldn't care less, but state, county, and local matters the most. And we need those of us who are constitutionally minded, those of us who consider ourselves conservative, and those of us who consider ourselves libertarian. We need to start uniting. We need to start doing that, because things are going to be starting to go out of control if we let it. And if we stop it now, then that'd be great. Let's roll on to 2020. I think some really great things are gonna start happening. Here's an idea that I've had, guys, is as a measure for North Dakota in 2020 is North Dakota has an income tax. So I've been kind of floating this around a little bit, but I want to see what you guys think. Is how would a measure sound to you guys about North Dakota cannot collect income tax once you start working in overtime hours? So once you worked your 40 hours and you are called on to work into overtime if you're an hourly employee, that North Dakota cannot collect income tax on that income earned. What do you guys think about that? I think it'd be a great benefit to any hourly employee, whether or not they're working at, a fast food joint, or if they're a lineman, or or really anybody who makes an hourly wage. Now I know what you guys are going to say. Well, what about the salaried employees? Well, you know what? Sorry, salaried employees, you knew what you were getting into when you were hired on to take that salary. If you want to work an hourly job, there's a lot out there. Take one. Then this potential measure would apply to you. But it's just that simple. But yeah, that's one idea that I kind of want to float around is North Dakota not being allowed to collect income tax on income earned after 40 hours once you start working overtime hours. So yeah, that's all I got for now. But I will see you guys later.